This is a Colt Dragoon, 1848, 44 caliber, 6-shot horse pistol. I think we're all fans of the Dragoon, everyone in the black powder community. We all know how they work. This one right here is a second model. And a lot of times you'll see third model Dragoons that are cut for a shoulder stock, but those stocks, they sure are hard to find. Well, we're not going to shoot this Dragoon today. This is just out here for comparison's sake. But today we have something very special to show you guys. And you might be wondering, what is in that ridiculous holster? Well, it's a Colt Dragoon. So this is a third model Dragoon. This one's made by Armi San Marcos. And as you can see, it's got the Buntline barrel and it's got the flip up leaf rear sight. It's still got the sight in the hammer nose, but if you look down the sights, this one's too low. You're actually using this rear leaf sight. So this is actually a really rare reproduction. I've been looking for one of these for a long time. They imported them, I believe, in 1974, 5 and 6, somewhere in there. They didn't import many. Some of the numbers I've seen is up to 5,000, but with the rarity that they show up on the market, I would tend to believe it's a lot less than 5,000. And basically this is a standard third model Dragoon, cut for the shoulder stock. It's just got the long barrel, and it's got this sort of, I guess you would call it a sporterized style front sight. As far as I know, these are not historically accurate. I don't think that Colt ever made a long barrel Dragoon like this, but boy are they cool. And so we've got the gun, and we've also got the holster and the shoulder stock. And these shoulder stocks are rare as hen's teeth. Not only are they rare, this one right here actually has the blued furniture. A lot of the Dragoon shoulder stocks you'll see, if you can find one, will have the brass furniture. Some of these are blued steel and some of them are blackened brass. I believe this one is blackened brass just by the color. I haven't tested it with a magnet, but you can see it's kind of turned to a nice plum color. But we're going to put this thing together. I'll show you how it goes together. So to start off with, you got this nut right here, and it is linked to this J-hook. And so you unscrew this nut, and you'll see that J-hook coming out the bottom of the stock. You get it to where it's about all the way out. Then you just take your Dragoon, and you'll see it's got this fourth screw right here. The only purpose of this screw is to mate with the shoulder stock right here in this cutout. And then you'll notice it's got a notch on the bottom of the grip frame, and that's to lock in, for this J-hook to lock into. So you take your Dragoon and your shoulder stock, you want to come in kind of at an angle, and then it swings down, hooks in, then you just screw this nut, and you can see this J-hook will go right into that cutout on the bottom of the grip frame. Make sure it's nice and tight, you don't want any movement. And now you have got a third model Dragoon carbine. Now, the cool thing about these is that since they're black powder in most states, you could have a short barrel Dragoon and put it on one of these shoulder stocks and it's completely legal, because in most states, black powder guns aren't considered to be firearms. Federally they're not, but you would have to check your local state laws. But here in a minute we're going to load this up and shoot it. Now one thing you always have to keep in mind, this is the most important thing when you're shooting a revolving carbine like this, and especially a black powder revolving carbine. When you aim it, you do not want to put your offhand out here on the barrel or on the fore end or whatever's there, for two reasons. Number one, we've got a cylinder gap right here, or a barrel gap, and whenever you fire there's going to be lead, there's going to be gas shooting out of there, and it's going to cut up your arm. Second of all, anybody who shoots cap and ball revolvers has at least heard of a chain fire. and that's when you fire and the spark jumps either at the back or the front of the cylinder into the next chamber, and more than one chamber goes off. Now if you're holding this out here and you have a chain fire and a bullet comes out this cylinder, it's bye-bye fingers. So that's a couple special precautions you want to take when you're shooting a revolving carbine like this. But we're going to load this up off camera, and then we're going to send some shots downrange. I have not shot this yet, so I don't know where it's going to hit. But down there, as you can see, we've got 2 plates set up. I think we're going to start on the big one just to see if it's even close. And then we might try to do a little fine work on the small one. So we decided we'd show you all how to load this, just in case there's people watching that have no experience with black powder and would like to get into it. So the first thing you're going to do is go ahead and put the gun on half cock. That frees up your cylinder to rotate. This spout right here throws a 30 grain charge, and I'm using 2F powder, so not a super hot load. Pour it directly into the chamber. And then we are going to grab a greased felt wad, put it over the powder. And then these right here, I'm using 457 round balls. These are probably a little big, but you want to get a good seal. Put it under the rammer, and we're just going to ram it. Now, you see that big ring of lead that it shaved off? Here, I'll pull it out so you can see it better. That's a good sign. That means you've got a good seal around the ball, and sparks and stuff can't get through there, and that helps decrease the risk of chain fires. So we're going to go ahead and load the rest of these chambers, and then I'll show you how to cap it, and then we'll do some shooting. So we got 5 of the chambers capped, and you can see this one right here doesn't have a cap. All you do is take your percussion cap and just stick it on that cone right there. Now all 6 are loaded, and the way they did it back in the day, as you can see down between these chambers, there's a little pin that goes with this little notch in the hammer. So you would lower the hammer between chambers, and it'll lock it. Now that's not necessarily a safe practice in the 21st century, but for our purposes, we're just shooting for fun. We're not carrying this. That's what we're gonna do. And so we're about to take some shots. All right guys, here's the first shots from the Dragoon Buntline with the shoulder stock. That was actually very pleasant recoil. Looks like we're gonna have a cap jam already. That's a common occurrence with Colts. There we go. All right. All right, so it looks like it's shooting fairly close. Everything looks good. And I am shooting that big plate. Another little cap jam. There we go. I might even go for the small one already. Well, we'll reload it and take a couple more shots.
Now the cameraman will take a few shots. You want to get a close up on that small plate?
Yeah. All right. You got one more left, don't you?
Yeah.
Two more.
Just one. That's a spent cap.
Oh, right in the center. Well done, cameraman. All right, we're gonna try a couple little longer range shots on the big plate. We measured this out to 65 yards from the big plate. I'm probably gonna hold over quite a bit just to see, but here we go. I'm gonna take 3 shots and then Aaron's gonna take 3 shots. Seems like it shoots pretty good.
Alright guys, so most of William's shots hit kind of lower on the plate, and he was aiming quite a bit high. So I'm going to flip up this leaf sight and try holding dead on and see what that does for us.
All right. Let me see if I can try to catch this one.
Ready?
Yeah. All right, so we're back here at 65 yards. Aaron's got the tallest sight on the leaf, the tallest leaf put up, and he's gonna try aiming at the bottom of that big plate because we think he's going over. Huh? Right center. Here, wait a second for that smoke to clear. Okay. Oh, perfect. Dude, that was like about a quarter of the way up the plate and a little bit to the left. Black powder smoke just hanging in the grass. That is so cool. What a cool shot. All right, we're just gonna take a couple more shots at these plates. Making a lot of smoke. Getting it reloaded. Alright, so we're gonna try it in its pistol form now, if you could call it that. This first chamber we got loaded with about 50 grains and then 30 in the rest, so we're just gonna take some shots with it, see how it handles as a pistol. That's quite a bit more, but still manageable. So what are your impressions of how it handles as a pistol?
Quite well. It's deceivingly well balanced.
Yeah, it looks like it would balance much worse than it actually does.
Yes.